everybody, and welcome to Finish It Friday. Yep, I am finally going to finish a quilt. I have picked this pretty fabric to be my binding. I recently finished this quilt. It's actually, I may have to change my binding. I just looked at the back of my quilt. All right, so this is actually a panel, and I'm learning how to use APQS quilt path, which is very similar to Grace's QCT software. And I will put a link in the description below so you can see what I am doing on the APQS channel. But here is my panel, and it's a full-sized panel. So I just quilted it with some pretty feathers. And now I need to cut this down and put a binding on it. Now the binding looks good with the front, but the back of my quilt is more of your primary colors, and so I need to pick, I think, a binding that's more of a primary color. Looks really good with the front. Okay, I gotta go find something that goes with both. I think I've done it. Let me set this aside. So I think this looks really good with the front, and let's flip this over, and it's going to look really good with the back. So it's kind of got a mixture of your primary colors and also the more muted colors of the front. First, let's trim this guy down. Notice my cutting table is cleaned off. I'm so happy about this. Of course, I'm going to mess it up, but isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the very point of our existence, is we get stuff cleaned up and then we mess it up again? That's the purpose of my existence anyway. All right, I may have to go get my weight. See if I can do it without the weight. Slide this. So it's been a while since I have used this cutting table because it has been a disaster. Fortunately, my daughter has had some free time on her hands, and so she has been helping organize my area. In other words, I won't be able to find anything without her help. I love this panel. I cannot wait to get it bound, wash it, and use it. It has been a while since I've made a quilt that I use. I've made quilts and given them away, but this one is for me. So now I have the measurements of all the way around the quilt. So 270 inches all the way around. I know that my fabric, which is right here, from selvage to selvage, is going to be at least 40 inches. So I'm going to divide the 270 by 40. Now, it doesn't matter how wide I cut it. I could have 10-inch borders or 10-inch binding. What matters is the length. So according to this, I need 6.75 strips that are 40 inches long to make it all the way around the quilt. So I will round that up to 7, maybe 8. But that's how you do that math. Now, put this aside. And actually, the fact that it's folded is good. I need to move this. I have a little toy over here that I'm going to be sharing with you all that I have had a whole lot of fun with. Okay. Nope, this goes this way. All right, now, this is the reason for the plates. Do I want my curve to be small, like this, or do I want to have a bigger curve like this? Is there even any difference? Yes, there is a difference. So let me pull this way so I can show you more closely what I'm doing. And I think I did get the plate thing from Jean Truelove. I want to give credit where credit is due, and I'm pretty confident that it was her suggestion that, you know, you can just use a plate to measure or to figure out, you know, how you want your curve. Okay, so here I'm just putting the edge and putting the edge, and there's the amount of curve that I would get. So it's a smaller curve. If I use this plate, it's not huge, it's not. Okay, see, I'm not kidding. There's really, yeah, there's very little difference. So, I think I'm going to use the big plate since it's not that big a difference anyway. You know, let's see what happens. Some of you are probably dying right about now. Oh, wow. Okay, so you got to use your muscles because you're cutting through a double layer. Okay. Okay. Looks good to me. Now, I'm going to set this aside. Let me turn this. So now, I'm going to fold this and set it aside so we can make our binding strips. Next step, we have to prepare our binding strips. So you're going to lay your fabric right side up and then take the next strip, put right sides together. Now, I like to be able to see part of the underneath strip so that I know where side to side or where the right place to start is. It's easy to tell where to end because you've got a 90-degree angle here. But if you cover up the other strip. Of course, if you do this perfectly, then you can just start in the corner and go there. Normally, I guess because I don't cut the selvage off, I'll overlap it like this, and then I need to know where I'm going to start cutting. And inevitably, I will not go the right way. And I'm feeling like I'm not going the right way. Okay, so here, if I sew this way, I'm going to, and I pull back, that's wrong. So I want to sew from here to here. And the way that I check that is I put my hand the way that the seam would be going, and I pull it back. And that is the look that I'm going for. So if you don't want to put a mark, you can do that. If you want to make a mark, I don't have anything other than this giant ruler here, but your mark will go from corner to corner. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew diagonally from here to here. And I'm just going to be living on the edge. Hopefully it doesn't bite me. So I'm just going to cut about 1/4 of an inch. Oh, scraps, little tiny, teeny tiny half square triangle pieces. Let's rid of the okays. Okay, so it's my favorite thing. There we go. I will put my binding like this. I have to cut this for the way that I bring all the binding together. And I need to know which one is, this is my 90 degree. All right, so I want my shorter, I want the front of this cut off. Oh, I need this back. Okay. So when I open this up, I need to cut like this. Okay. Usually I do this wrong. I'll probably do it wrong this time too. And I'm just gonna go along the line. Whoop. I didn't get that all the way. Okay. Yes, this is right. So I want to fold this over, and I want to press it, and I want to get rid of this little flap. All right, so let's go to our binding tool. I use monopoly thread in my bobbin, and that is because it looks invisible. I don't want my stitching on the front to be seen. Okay, so now I'm going to load my binding tool. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. I know that my raw edge goes up. The way that I start my quilts, I'm going to grab this. It's got a little poke to it. Okay, and it comes out. And where it's important, okay. Is we feed it through this, and it forms a sandwich. I want my quilt to be in between these two folds. We're going to go with folds. And I need to make sure that my placement of this stitches where I want it to. Right now, it is in the center. And I think I want it to be over, I want this little quilt sandwich to be further over so that when I stitch, I'm closer to the edge. So I just untightened these two little pieces, and now I've tightened them back up. And now I'm going to move you back a little because I'm going to be moving my quilt. Okay. So here I like to start in the middle, and I am going to place my quilt where I want it in between those folds of fabric. And getting it started is probably the worst part. Okay. So now you can see here, that is the top. So I definitely want to make sure that I am far enough in or far enough to the left that I don't miss catching this, and then that would stick out. Now, of course, I have all of this bulk that I want to deal with. And this is the reason, well, I'll show you the reason that I'm trying to use the rounded corners. All right, so we've got our bobbin in, we have our thread in, and we are going to see what happens. Okay, I've got that. This is tight. Make sure this is tight. Okay. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. Let's go look and see how it looks so far. I'm not going to pull too hard, but here, oh, you know what? And I forgot. I'm doing both sides at the same time. Wow. Yeah, I love binding. So my invisible thread is on the top. I'm so glad this is mine. But both sides look like I like binding to look. And then my fun pink is on the bottom. And so far, I'm good on where my thread is catching. All right, so let's keep this rock and rolling. And when we come to the corner, maybe you'll get a better understanding of why I am folding my edges. And we are coming up on a corner. Okay. All right, I am coming to the corner. The reason that I am doing this corner rounded is because there's a trick to doing a squared corner, and I have not learned that trick yet. So what my thinking is, if I have a rounded corner, then I can just slow down, ease around the corner, and I don't have to worry about the trick. So let's see if my evil plan works. Okay, now see, I don't know if that is right. I guess it folds more as it comes through, but well, we'll see. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's messed up. Okay, I'm going to cut my thread. This is where the binding tool becomes a little bit more tricky. So you cannot really go backwards. Like I can pull this back through and tuck it under like it's supposed to be. And I can, yeah, see that part is done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop my needle and see here if I can get it back on the right track. So I made it through my corner. I didn't make it through my corner well, but I did make it through my corner. So now I need to kind of adjust what I'm holding on to. And I don't know if it'd be any easier if I were sitting or not. It is not perfect, but you know what? That's okay. I will take it because you know what? Woof, dusty. It's not perfect, but it is most certainly finished. I need way more practice on my binding tool, but I found when I went around the corners slowly and guided it, it worked way better. And as long as I paid attention to where my quilt was in relation to the two pieces of the binding that it was being sandwiched between, and made sure that I gave this plenty of room, this binding, so it wasn't tugging on the binding. All right, so here, nope, that's the bottom. Here is my front, and we're not even gonna look at how I did the two pieces coming together because that is something, I don't know how this thing goes. That is something that is going to have to be perfected. But there it is. Can you believe this is a panel? This thing is huge. And then here is my backing. I love it. I love it. I am so excited to take this upstairs, put it in the washing machine, and I'm going to be sitting under it tonight because it will be done. Done. Thank you for joining me for Finish It Friday. I hope to do this every week. If I can finish a quilt every week, how awesome will that be? And how good will I be at using this binding tool by the time it's done? I will say that rounding the corners was definitely made it easier than going around the corners. One day I will figure out how to do a point, fold over a corner, a pretty corner on this machine with the binding tool. It'll just take some time. But this is a learning experience just as everything is, and it's done. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, I have a trip coming up in December of 2027. I'm going to Austria and Bavaria, and I'm going to the Christmas markets, and I will see where Sound of Music was filmed and just all kinds of other things. I hope that you will maybe join me. You have plenty of time to make arrangements, lots of time to save up for it, and it is going to be so much fun. I have some friends who sent me pictures of the quilts that they had finished, so I want to share them on this Finish It Friday. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving me thumbs up. Those all help my channel a great deal. I love doing these tutorials for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy them as much as I love doing them. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye.